tried hard to reconnect with my wife, but she made it nearly impossible through her poor choices. I messed up before by forcing my way into a zoo trip my wife had planned with the kids and both families, and people online called me a jerk for that. Now we are in a similar mess, and I tried the opposite and it still blew up. My wife and I have been on thin ice a long time. We separated for 6 months, and the things that broke us never really healed. I lost my job when she was pregnant. She told me to move out. When I moved back, I slept in the basement and we barely touched. We started marriage counseling. The counselor said we needed to spend time together, not keep living separate lives. 15 minutes after that session, my wife began packing for a holiday weekend at her family's lake camp. She packed for her and the kids only. I felt like history repeating. I tried to say, calmly, that the counselor's idea would be wasted if she left for camp without me. I told her I wasn't trying to join her at the camp. I said I wanted her and the kids to stay home so we could do neighborhood events and spend time as a family. She said no. She said she wanted to be with her family. I used the "I feel" lines the counselor taught and said it looked like she was choosing her family over ours. She heard that as an ultimatum. She called me an AH, stopped packing, then locked herself in our bedroom after the kids were asleep. I worried I'd ruined any chance of progress. I expected the worst, but the next morning she woke me to talk before they left. She apologized. She said the "her family" line was not meant to hurt. She said she understood we needed to spend time together, and she offered a compromise. Her compromise was fair. They would go to camp Saturday and come back midday Sunday to spend the rest of the weekend with me. They did that. We had a good day. I handled baby duty so she could talk to neighbors. It felt almost normal. Then she brought up weekly girls' nights with her mom and sister. I was anxious because her mother has pushed her away from me before, and her sister had a history of bad choices. She said her sister needed her because her brother-in-law left. I tried to stay calm and not accuse her of anything. I focused on my worry about influence and long nights away from home. She understood and said she'd try to balance things. A few days later, our son fell down the stairs and broke his arm. The ambulance came, and the hospital kept an eye on a possible head injury. Family showed up, and we all acted like adults because a kid needed us. Then someone called Child Protective Services and claimed I'd neglected my son. The report used the stair fall as an example. We don't know who called. Only family knew about the fall at the time. That shrank the circle of who could have made the call. I met a lawyer and told our therapist about the report. I started intensive individual counseling, and we talked about things I'd kept inside. My therapist said I minimize hard things and hold back details. That was hard to hear, but true. My wife and I are still trying to rebuild with careful steps. We go to counseling and practice the "I feel" lines and try not to escalate. Some days are small successes, and some days end with slammed doors. I still replay moments I could have handled better. I post this because writing helps me sort what I won't say out loud. I'm trying to choose us more often, even when it's messy and slow. I know I've made mistakes, and I know she's been hurt. I also know both of us want to try. That's where we are. Tired, scared, and trying. We had tiny wins. Once, she sat with me on the couch and we watched a TV show without arguing. Another time, we sat at the kitchen table and made a plan to share kid duties on weekdays. Those feel like progress because we used to dodge each other. But progress is messy. After the hospital scare, there were questions from strangers and whispered talks with family. That made trust feel fragile. I kept thinking if I could just show up the right way once, maybe the cloud would lift. I learned that words matter. When I say I'm scared, she hears blame. When I stay quiet, she hears distance. My counselor has been working with me on how to speak and how to listen without turning every talk into a fight. I've had to face how much I rely on being right. That need to be right pushes people away. My therapist calls it a pattern I have to break if we're going to build anything real. Practical stuff piled up around the feelings. We had to talk about schedules, pickups, who signs permission slips, how to handle sick kids. Those talks are boring, but they are also the scaffolding for family life. When we can get those right, the rest gets easier. Sometimes I feel lonely, even in the same room. Other times she looks at me and I can almost see that we used to like each other. That small look keeps me going more than anything else. We still have moments that actually feel like a family. They are short, they matter, we keep them close. We plan more of them at the counselor's suggestion, and we try to guard those hours from outside noise. I'm not fixed, I am trying. I will keep going to therapy. I will show up for the kids. I'll try to be honest when it hurts. Small steps can add up. I keep trying because I want our kids to have a steady home.